Good morning. It's 6:40 on Thursday, and we're talking about my Jack Wolf low drag jack. So I have had this knife for I don't know, a month or two maybe, and I haven't really carried it a whole lot until in the last week, basically a little longer than a week. The reason for that is a couple things. When I first got it, it had an okay edge, but not as quite as good as I wanted it to be. So I ended up putting my own edge on it, very sharp edge on the done on the work sharp. And I also added this easy open notch because the way this pattern is, you have to use the nail nick to get it out without this notch in here. And this has a real strong pull on it. So it was kind of just, I mean, it was definitely doable, but it was kind of like wrenching on my fingernail to get it out. It just wasn't that easy. So I thought I'd put the notch in, and now all I have to do is just grab the blade, pull it out. It's way easier, much more easier and pleasurable to use. So that's the reason I've been carrying it again. I even made a slip for it. It's kind of cool. This is pretty thin leather, and you can see how it's kind of, the leather is kind of forming around that notch right there. I think it looks kind of cool. So this is in S90V blade steel, which is awesome. But on my first testing video, I have done a test video with this before with the factory edge. It didn't quite hold an edge like I wanted it to. So I wasn't sure if that was it wasn't a great factory edge, or maybe it was slightly burnt or something. I didn't really know. So I wanted to do another cut test once I had my own edge on it. So today's the day. We're going to do it. Same test as we did before, just with a brand new fresh edge on it. It's very sharp, very sticky, and let's go see how it does. All right, here we go. I was really crossing my fingers that this was going to do well and keep an edge like I want it to, because I really want to like the knife. And I already do much more now that I have this easy open notch in it. And now if only this S90V performs really well, that's the last thing I need, and then I will be a real big fan of this knife. Putting price aside, I got it on sale at the regular retail price that this was at. I don't think I would buy it for that much. But for the price that I got, which was around $230, I'll be happy with that. So starting with the cardboard, this thing really zips through cardboard super easily. I mean, really easy. It's it's got a real deep hollow grind, and it just destroys this stuff. Not a chance. I mean, the cardboard didn't stand a chance. Now keep in mind, my bar has been set. Let me start over. My bar for how good S90V should be has been set by Spyderco. Hold on, okay. I'll get back to that in a minute. You saw that I was just demonstrating how you can get the tip in contact with the surface and then rock back a little bit, and the belly, and you kind of rock along the belly for a little while until your knuckles hit the table. So that's great. That's going to make cutting a lot easier for us down the line when we get to more chopping and cutting kind of things. But here for utility cutting, it's just freaking great, man. Really great. It's kind of interesting. I'm not lifting my hand up all the way to the tip. I can kind of get away with sitting back a little bit. Because it's so thin up there, it cuts just as well, kind of rocked back even a little bit. Going around some turns, did real well. So what I was saying about, Spyderco sets a high bar with their S90V because it's Spyderco. They do a real good job with almost basically all of their blade steels. So keep that in mind. The only S90V I've ever tried was Spyderco's, which is top of the line. So we will see how this stacks up to that. Leather glove time. It's breezing right through. I'm kind of having to go back a second time to finish the cut. I think it's just a blade length issue. I think it's a short blade. I think I'm just running out before I have time to get through the cut all the way. But yeah, did fine. Some rubber tubing. This is where our ability to rock along the belly there is going to come in handy, as you'll see here in a minute. You can kind of start with the tip and then rock back and get all the way through that tubing, which is real nice. Cutting through this stuff very easily. Nice and clean. What's next? I'm feeling the edge. We still got some bite to it, which is a great sign. Say so, romp. Cut a few like this, and then we'll put it down on the cutting board. Same situation here, where it's going to come in handy being able to use the belly. Start with the tip, kind of rock back. Very nice. Very, very easily taking care of this. Say so, romp. Yeah. No complaints there. So far, so good. I'm just really hoping when we cut the paper at the very end that it's still going to glide through nicely. Now we're going to try the strap here. It's not going to go all the way through. I already know that. It's a short blade. But I'm just going to try it and just, why not? See how it goes. And we got about halfway, which is actually a little more than I thought we would even. This knife is not meant to do this kinds of things. And you can, as you can see right now. But that's not what it's made for. Ergonomically, gripping the knife that hard and pushing through a cut like that, it's not great. A few minor little hot spots, but like I said, that's a non-issue because the knife is not built to do things like that. Ergonomics on this knife is it's almost a moot point. Not quite, but So here I'm trying to kind of demonstrate how this blade shape comes in handy. Think of the Nightshade almost. And this is a different blade shape, but the way the belly kind of drops down almost creates the same kind of effect. You try to keep your fist parallel to the cardboard, and the way that belly dips down, it brings the cardboard back into your hand, not out to the tip where you can slip out of your cut. All right. Oh, hell yeah. I am stoked. We are still cutting paper nicely. Not as well as before we started, but still very, very well. So I'm super happy right now. Yeah, I'm stoked. It must have just been not a great factory edge, or it was slightly burnt, one of the two. But this is holding an edge way better than the first cut test video I did. Still sticky to the touch. Again, not as sticky, but still sticky. Awesome. I'm so stoked. So now I have nothing holding me back from loving this knife. Let's strop it up. I can't remember how well S9DV responds to stropping, but let's see here. We'll give it a few strokes. Alrighty. Did that do anything? Oh yeah, it did. We are, I think, very close to right back where we were when we started. In fact, I think we are. It is really cutting this paper so nicely, just gliding through without any issue. I'm happy. I'm real happy. Yeah. I honestly have no complaints with the knife. Zero. So if, I guess moral of the story is, if you get a Jack Wolf knife in S90V and you're not super impressed with how it's holding an edge, maybe sharpen it. And possibly it's got a little burnt edge, or maybe the factory edge isn't quite up to par, which, you can't really fault anyone for that. I would say for the most part, factory edges are not perfect. So there you go. I'm happy with my Jack Wolf low drag jack. And I don't know. I really liked his recent or last release, the sway back jack. I forget what it's called, but it's the sway back pattern. Man, that looks good. Oof. And he has a jigged titanium variation as well. Yeah. Too expensive for me, but that was a good looking knife. Is a good looking knife. So, yeah. If you want a Jack Wolf and can't stomach the price, keep an eye out for a sale like I did. Find one on the secondary market maybe. Where I found this on sale was on White Mountain Knives, so you could always go check over there. They might still even be on sale, I don't know. I'll link it down below if they are, actually. And, yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, folks. Please like the video before you bounce, and I'll see you soon. Adios.